It's all about helping improve the lives of people.
Here, I truly believe that we are making a difference.
If you can help somebody in their life, what better thing can you do?
You don't really leave Africa. Part of your heart is still here.
7,690 miles separate La Crosse, Wisconsin from the country of Ethiopia. Despite the distance, Ethiopia and its people are close to the hearts of a group here in the Coulee region. In March, 13 volunteers with the Gundersen Health System Global Partners program traveled to Ethiopia to work at a health clinic. For 2 weeks, the team treated patients, performed health screenings, and provided education. Photographer Mark Bronson and I traveled with the team to show you what they did and explain why the people of Ethiopia need their help. The Gundersen team chose Ethiopia in part because it's one of the poorest countries in the world, and access to resources like healthcare, education, and even clean water are limited.
With its picturesque mountains and rolling streams, Ethiopia is one of the most beautiful places in the world. But for every landscape that takes your breath away, there are thousands of faces of the poor, the hungry, and the sick that make your heart ache. Poverty is an epidemic. Most people are farmers who, according to the World Health Organization, earn less than $300 a year.
It's a very difficult life.
Zander Tyre has lived in rural Ethiopia for almost 4 years. The volunteer teacher says despite the work of local nonprofits, adults and children are hungry.
Wondering if your stomach will have enough food in it. Wondering, will I be hungry when I go to bed? When will I not be hungry?
In addition to hunger, Ethiopians battle illness. Most families live in a tukul, a small round home with mud walls and a dirt floor. A home families share with their livestock.
The cattle and the goats come in at night and they take up half the tukul and the family takes the other half.
Viruses, bacteria, parasites, and even fungi are passed between humans and the animals they live with, a problem made worse by a lack of basic resources. A survey conducted by Project Mercy, a local charity, found nearly 78% of families lack access to clean drinking water.
We can go out and teach them all about hygiene that we want, but if they don't have access to clean water, they're going to be experiencing the same problem over and over again.
The same study found 4 out of 5 families live without proper sanitation. The Ethiopian government and private groups are working together to expand access to health care, but there are not enough trained physicians to meet the need. The hospital in Yetebon serves about 70,000 people. It's staffed by just 2 doctors and 1 surgeon. Access to medication is also scarce. The government gives each hospital a small ration of drugs each month. When they're gone, and patients go without. Illnesses easily treated in the U.S., like tuberculosis, diarrhea, and respiratory infections, can be fatal.
Electricity, or rather a lack of electricity, is a big problem here in Ethiopia. The power goes out up to 4 times a day, sometimes for a couple minutes, other times for hours.
Despite all of the challenges, the Ethiopian people have faith. They believe in the power of prayer and family, and they believe tomorrow will be a better day.
What makes the difference at the end of the day is how we're able to tackle and overcome those challenges.
It's because of the work of groups like Project Mercy that living conditions in Ethiopia are slowly improving. Project Mercy is a faith-based relief agency which believes in using a holistic approach to overcome poverty. In 1993, Project Mercy came to Yetebon. The compound, as they describe it, includes a K-12 school, an orphanage, a church, and a medical center. What makes Project Mercy unique is that its founders don't just offer handouts. For example, school tuition as well as the meals they serve to students are free, but to enroll, parents must volunteer with the organization. And during summer break, kids teach things like first aid and hygiene to their families and other community members. Patients also pay for all of the medical services offered at the clinic, but at a discounted rate.
We don't want to just hand out. We don't hand anything out. They have to contribute. Contribution is important. If they're just given without them contributing anything, then it has no value.
When the Global Partners program leaders heard about Project Mercy's work, they wanted to get involved. Global Partners already provides healthcare in underserved communities in South Dakota and Nicaragua. Gundersen employees, as well as community members, use their vacation time and pay their own way to volunteer. Team leader Dr. Jeff Hillisland says Project Mercy's mission to educate people and provide medical care fits well with the Global Partners mission. And because Project Mercy is a school and a medical facility, there's an opportunity for more Gundersen staff members and community members to share their skills.
There's just a number of different needs that are here that are currently not being met that we could potentially provide.
Project Mercy was also a good fit because of its excellent facility. The medical center includes a number of medical wards, a pharmacy, a lab, x-ray and ultrasound, a dental unit, a clinic, and 2 operating suites. 13 volunteers signed up to be part of the first ever Global Partners team in Ethiopia. That team included 2 surgeons, a physician, 6 nurses, 2 anesthetists, and 2 non-medically trained volunteers. The team hit the ground running, heading into the OR on their first full day at Project Mercy. It was there they quickly learned that practicing medicine in a third world country is both challenging and sometimes heartbreaking.
So this is our 12-day-old infant.
Surgeons train for the unexpected.
All right, we'll pray.
They hope for the best outcomes.
Make our hands smooth, make us accurate.
But prepare for the worst.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit scary.
In the United States, that prep includes gathering the best equipment and the best drugs, the best medicine has to offer. In Ethiopia,
it's a challenge.
The best is often out of reach.
It really makes you realize how much we have in the United States that we take for granted.
Basics like electricity. Anesthetist Ian Saleh had just sedated a 2-week-old for a circumcision when the hospital lost power.
Oh, bad timing.
Yes, that was a scary part because babies don't have much of a reserve, so they desaturate. Their oxygen level drops very quickly compared to adults. So yeah, it was a little scary, but our local anesthetist was available, and she had helped to switch the oxygen for us. It worked out good.
Every procedure, large or small, had its own challenges. Sometimes the team had to sterilize and reuse equipment that would have been thrown away back in La Crosse. In other cases, they didn't have the equipment they needed. The biggest challenge of all, not being able to make patients comfortable. Pain medications are not available in rural Ethiopia. When patients awoke from surgery, encouraging words and a tender touch were all the Gundersen team had to offer.
It means something to everybody, every person, to have just that touch and that caring smile and, the comforting words that someone cares.
The Gundersen team performed 25 surgeries in just 1 week, and they were able to help every patient but one. A 30-year-old woman, a mother, came into the OR with an abdominal mass. That mass was cancer. It had already attached to a number of her organs. Now, back in La Crosse, it would have been removed, and she would have immediately undergone chemo and radiation. Or, if she chose not to have it treated, she would have at least been made comfortable with drugs. Neither is an option here in Ethiopia. Instead, the team closed her up and sent her home, where she will die what most likely will be a painful death.
You help those who you can, and for those who you can't help, you can always help by holding their hand. It's really hard, but it's what we do.
2 days later, the Gundersen team brought new life into the world. This baby boy delivered by C-section.
Just to see the little one and to know that life goes on. Life goes on. We helped him to have a better start.
A timely reminder that for every moment of desperation, there are equal amounts of joy.
When asked about working in Ethiopia, every team member said the same thing. It reminded them of why they got into medicine in the first place, to help people in any way they could. Working at Project Mercy was incredibly valuable for the youngest member of the team. Dr. Abe Sagonis is a surgical resident. He worked on many cases surgeons just don't see in the U.S. because they can be prevented. Now, most surgical procedures in La Crosse are performed laparoscopically or through a small incision in the abdomen. That equipment was not available in Ethiopia. Dr. Sagonis' cases were all open cases, forcing him to get back to the basics.
But it's also simpler in the fact that you just have 12 tools and you get those same 12 tools and you just learn what to work with. It's easier to clean them, easier to turn over the room and get ready for the next case.
Working in the OR was also unique for a surgical veteran. Dr. Sig Gundersen has been practicing medicine for more than 25 years. This was his first mission trip to Africa and the first time he worked with his wife. Jean Ann served with the team as a community volunteer. She got to volunteer with her husband in the OR.
And it's something that we've always wanted to do together so that we could share that common experience. As you probably know, when you do something and you try to relate it and they haven't experienced it, you miss an element to it. So I'm delighted that we can do it the first time together.
To actually have her here and engaged and involved has been really exciting for me.
The Gundersens were one of 2 couples to make this trip. Dr. Hillesland and his wife Sally also volunteered together. Sally is a registered nurse. She and Jeff have volunteered for medical mission trips to Africa 7 times. In addition to working at the hospital, members of the team also provided health education in the Yetebon community. Nurse Ellen Hansen worked with the hospital's environmental health technician, basically the village's health inspector, to educate area business owners and employees. Ellen and Hailu inspected this tea house where they spoke with workers about practicing better hygiene and encouraged them to get annual physicals.
This is extremely important, especially being so close to the hospital and serving the families of the patient, that we keep everything clean.
Just like in the U.S., the tea house must meet certain health criteria. If it doesn't, that tea house can be shut down. Still to come, meet 2 children who, thanks to Project Mercy, have food and shelter and family. Plus, learning through play. Tag along as I make some new friends and teach a little gymnastics.
This News 19 special, Project Mercy, is brought to you by Wesco and Sparta, Gundersen Health System, Interior Designs, and by your hometown Chevy dealers.
To understand why Project Mercy is a special place, you must look into the eyes of the children who live there. More than 40 house kids live on campus. Most are orphans. Thanks to Project Mercy, each one has a home, a sense of security, and more importantly, family.
His shy smile and soft-spoken nature may lead you to believe that Paternet is a carefree kid. But there have been days this 15-year-old struggled to survive. Paternet was living on the street, trying to take care of his 4 younger brothers and sister when Project Mercy's founders invited him and his siblings to live at the compound.
God gives me them to live with me.
Paternet is one of 42 house kids who call Project Mercy home. Each child's story is sadly similar.
The kids just take your heart away.
Lolly Demicky knows each of the house kids well. His parents founded Project Mercy. Lolly considers each one of the kids family.
The idea is for them to grow up in a family environment. It's a big family here.
The children live in dormitories with a house mom, one for the boys and another for the girls. They eat together, play together, pray together, and do chores together.
I like it.
Tigist's parents died when she was young. She lived with her aunt until her aunt married and her new uncle sent her away. When she arrived here 10 years ago, Tigist was an only child. Not anymore.
I see that them, like the girls are my sister and the boys are my brother and mom and dad are my mom.
Children come to Project Mercy for shelter and food, the things they need to simply survive. They stay.
They are told you are important, you are special.
For the things worth living for.
Tigist and Paternet are the top students in their classes. Both dream of going to college. Tigist wants to be a pharmacist, Paternet a doctor. They want to someday help people like their Project Mercy family has helped them. Well, roughly 1,500 students are enrolled in school at Project Mercy. Sadly, there are many more children who would like to attend, but who are turned away because the school is at capacity. Last fall, more than 500 tried to enroll in kindergarten. Project Mercy only had room for 250. School is important not only because getting an education is the only way out of poverty, but because kids eat breakfast and lunch at school, possibly their only 2 meals of the day. Staying in school can be just as difficult or even more difficult than getting in. Students begin learning English in kindergarten, but the majority of their classes are taught in the Ethiopian national language of Amharic. When they reach 5th grade, however, all of their classes are taught in English. Just 3 years later, at the end of their 8th grade year, students take the first of 3 national exams. The test, which covers reading, math, and science, is written in English. If students don't pass, they are expelled from school. The exam is difficult. Teacher Zandra Tyre says roughly a third of students don't pass.
You have to realize, you know, it's not America, no child left behind. No, the system is set that many children will be left behind and there's nothing you can do about it. So accept that. You don't have to like it, accept it, and then do what you can.
Zandra and the other teachers spend a lot of time after school trying to help students prepare for the national exams. They work on reading and comprehending English. The Gundersen volunteers and I had the opportunity to help at an after-school reading lab. The problem is, just like in the U.S., the kids that come to the reading lab are already pretty good readers. The kids that are having trouble don't want to stay after class. Another barrier to learning, not being able to see what's on the board. Not a single student at Project Mercy wears glasses. And as the Gundersen team found out, that's not because they have perfect vision.
Eyes up here.
Without enough textbooks for all of her students, the board is Megan Smith's most effective teaching tool.
The structure of a chloroplast.
At least she thought it was until Megan noticed one of her students who sat just feet away from the board couldn't see the words.
So I was guessing that, she probably wasn't the only one. I've never seen any of my students wear glasses before, and from a few hundred students, there must be at least a handful that can't see the board.
Megan was right.
P, yep. What's the next one?
Gundersen volunteer Sally Hillisland is a retired nurse and trained in vision screenings.
Most of these kids have probably never had a vision screening in their life.
Sally and the other Gundersen team members screened a few hundred students in just 3 days. They found many students and even some teachers desperately need glasses.
There are some that really have to be about 3 feet away from the chart to read it well.
Out of the soil.
Megan is working with a charity group in her hometown to pay for eye exams for the students with the most severe vision problems, a process that could take months. Megan doesn't expect to get glasses for her students until next fall, a frustrating fact for the Gundersen volunteers.
I would love to be able to come in and make change much more quickly and see things happen faster and to see results. But I think the biggest challenge is time. It's just going to take time.
Can you tell me what letter she's pointing to?
The team will be long gone by the time their work has an impact on these kids, but it will have an impact.
Their main mission might be to serve in the hospital or to hem the kids' clothing, but they're doing so much more than that.
Good job.
Helping students and their teachers focus on a better future.
Megan will have to take her students to the capital city of Addis Ababa to see an eye doctor. There is an eye exam room at Project Mercy, but there isn't a doctor to staff it. The Gundersen team spent quite a bit of time with the Project Mercy school children. They helped them with schoolwork, practiced speaking English, and taught first aid. I had a chance to do some teaching too. As a high school gymnastics coach, I thought it'd be fun to teach a little tumbling. The language barrier made it slightly difficult, but we sure had fun. Coming up next, find out how Project Mercy is helping families living around the compound earn a livable wage and how you can help. Plus, so cool. One of the Gundersen volunteers found a unique way to have an immediate impact on the women and children living at the compound. Her story after the break.
This News 19 special, Project Mercy, is brought to you by Wesco in Sparta, Gundersen Health System, Interior Designs, and by your hometown Chevy dealers.
Project Mercy has been improving the lives of people in Ethiopia for nearly 40 years through education, access to health care, and by offering local adults employment. Project Mercy hired these women to make crafts. They work 5 days a week, dyeing straw and then weaving it into different size bowls and baskets. The women we met were eager to show us their work. They are proud of their craft and proud to have found a job. Project Mercy also hires people with disabilities. This young woman is deaf and cannot speak. She's an artist and makes glass bead bracelets. Now, Project Mercy is funded entirely by donations and by the online sales of these bracelets and the baskets. The sales keep these women employed and help feed and educate local kids. Most of the people we met in Ethiopia owned one outfit. As you can imagine, shirts and pants wear out and rip quickly when you wear them every day. Gundersen volunteer Cheryl Veith found her niche at Project Mercy mending clothes. She also found a way to share her skills with the Project Mercy house moms. Photographer Mark Bronson has her story.
Very good. good, awesome. They're house mothers here, so the house that's here with 42, 45 children are the ones that they're kind of watching over, but they have all this free time during the day. So Marty and Demi want them to learn how to sew and to fix the items that need to get fixed. I figured out, you know, what was wrong with the machines and fixed them and put the right needles in and got them to start. The biggest thing was electricity. You know, I have two ladies that want to learn how to sew, so I need a second transformer, and so we got that hooked up today, so at least I have two machines. Go through that metal piece there. We're going to have to learn how to wind the bobbins and to thread the machine, and they're doing a really great job.
Good job! And now
I hope it's something that, you know, will benefit them, and then maybe they will teach some of the young women in the house. Now lift it up, and now cut your thread. They're learning, and I think that's Global Partners' dream, is that we share our expertise and that we give back to people here a skill that they can now utilize, which is a good thing.
Hey, yay, another one done. We're way to go. Only 100 more to go.
Whether it was making curtains, helping a student practice English, or working in the operating room, all 13 team members found a way to make a difference. The Gundersen team really was a team. Everyone had a passion to serve.
The thing that always amazes me is you bring 13 people together with a variety of different backgrounds and experiences, and you pull them together as a team, and somehow they just fall together and really become a very cohesive, functional team.
This may have been Global Partners' first trip to Ethiopia, but it won't be the last. Before we left the country, the Gundersen team started making plans for the future. Project Mercy would like specialized physicians like optometrists, dentists, and podiatrists to volunteer at the clinic. They are also in need of educators, farmers, construction workers, and anyone else who has a passion to serve. Global Partners is confident people in the Coolie region are willing to and can fulfill the need.
Our commitment is real, and they feel that, and they're already building lists and thinking about future. They've talked about, you know, when we come back, and I think that's a really good sign.
Even though it is the first time, it looks as if it has some experience with us. So we liked it very much.
Dr. Fakato, the resident surgeon in Yetebon, would like a Gundersen team to volunteer at Project Mercy 2 to 3 times each year. He's hopeful this new partnership will last for many years to come. We end tonight's show by taking you to the top of the Gobran Mountain, 9,000 feet above sea level, to show you one more time this beautiful country of Ethiopia. Thank you so much to the Global Partners team and the team here at Gundersen for allowing us to come with on this incredible journey to tell your story. Thank you to Project Mercy for welcoming us with open arms and for the great work you are doing here. Thank you to the people for being so kind to us. And thank you for watching. Good night.